Yeah, we are pressed for something.
We got late arrivals, all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
But,
Anyone see the trailer last night, The Masquerade?
Yeah, Robot Rumble.
how many of you
I know. That's what we hope.
on Friday? Give us a little taste of what to expect. Rumble, number one. In 2002, Starships got smacked. In 2003, Starships got smacked again. But now, in 2003, 2 days later, Robos will rumble. And we have our expert robotologists here to discuss these important issues. Scholars and robotologists. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our panel of expert robotologists, starting with Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, editor, co-writer, director,
Thanks for the editor first.
I know you're always well trained, and also producer of the X-Men 1.5 Special Edition, as well as X-Men 2, Special Edition DVD, Usual Suspects, and Tron.
I was accused that my voting standards in the last Starship Smackdown were certainly skewed toward one opinion. And I just want to point out that today's opinions are all dedicated to my wife, whose birthday is today. She's here in the audience. It won't change the voting for my voting in any way.
Next to Robert is Ms. Kay Rondell, television producer extraordinaire and writer. And also Millennium, and is currently producing a pilot for Lifetime, their first genre pilot, if I'm not mistaken. Woohoo!
I said television for women.
Yeah! They don't have robots on that.
Oh, but they will.
Next to Kay is Steve Melching, writer and producer of Men in Black animated, X-Men animated episodes, Starship Troopers animated, and the recent short film
Sticky Fingers. But don't forget Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot.
That's right. Two robots.
They're not real because they're animated.
I just got to tell you, the reason we're late, I wasn't going to share this with you, but you're all friends here. We had to make a very important call because we found out that a friend of ours may have been on a plane that had an accident this morning. Thank God everything was all right. But when I was talking to the international operator to try and get through for this emergency call, she says to me, well, what's your home long distance service? And I said, Sprint. She goes, oh, would you like to change to AT&T? I said, we're trying to find out if a friend of ours died in a plane crash in Kenya. Would you mind, like not trying to give me the sales pitch? Unbelievable. Anyway, Dan is, of course, a producer on Future Hour, or was a producer on Future Hour.
Dan Weber. Dan Weber.
Another story. Yesterday I was calling Dan at the hotel. I asked for Dan Weber, and the operator said, there is no Dan Weber. We have a Daniel Weber if you... That's a true story.
Trouble claims to be.
So anyway, Dan also wrote for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and is responsible for the critically acclaimed episode Lover's Walk, and done a billion other things. Death by Now.
And my girlfriend is very much alive in Kenya, and I love her very much.
And Dan, of course, is also one of the former editors of The Onion. So, which explains why he's so much funnier than the rest of us. And, of course, except for you, Derek. Now, and finally, next to Dan is Mr. Darren Document, producer and special edition Star Trek Motion Picture DVD visual effects supervisor. He's noted pre-production illustrator and a billion other things, voice, man with 1,000 voices, and of course, contributor to magazines like Cinema Fantastic and Femme Fatales.
And hungover.
It wouldn't be Sunday Comic-Con if you weren't. So, and of course, I'd be remiss if I did not introduce myself. I'm Mark Altman, publisher of Cinema Fantastic and Femme Fatales, and I did not edit Free Enterprise, but I was there during the process. And
I think she's holding up the 5-minute sign over there.
and without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our robots that are about to rumble.
But first, our Vanna White. Tara Metzger. The loveliest robot of all.
Now that brings up, what can robots be hungover? I mean, let's look at Forbidden Planet. Okay.
Save that for the Rumble.
Okay. I gotta tell you, we got a few more robots than we had spaceships. We actually have a few more robots that kick ass than we had spaceships that didn't. And we ultimately next year will have the robot that wins this compete against the winning starship. No. We're not gonna do anything that stupid. This is about as stupid as it gets. Okay, our first robot. Robot?
Robots! Robots! Metal friends!
Oh! Now, if you're a big Kevin J. Anderson fan, you'll know who this guy is. He's the one whose intelligence took over the Death Star.
2.
Okay. But that was only in the books, which aren't canon, as far as I'm concerned.
I'll do that.
If you believe in canon, however, this bounty hunter is one of the coolest Kenner toys currently available. And a very formidable foe. There you go, IG-88.
No, that's not. Is that it? Is that it?
Yes, that is IG-88.
You look like a light.
You're off the panel!
He never fired that weapon in the movie.
He will in episode 3 because he's actually the mother of Han Solo. Yes. There we go. Very good. Round 1. Now, IG-88 will be competing against this next robot. Oh my God. Well, you know,
Don't laugh at the jokes before they do.
No.
Kay is British.
Oh!
There you go! Oh my God, what a move! This will be our first battle. IG-88 versus K9. I want to keep this short, gentlemen. Ladies. Starting with Robert.
K9 can bark, IG-88 says nothing. I vote for K9.
British.
Okay, I want to hear a voice of reason here. We have 2 votes for K9.
Well, IG-88 is largely immobile. I don't think we saw him do anything more than rotate his head a little bit. I'm not convinced he can actually do anything.
You didn't read the
He has
books
the
then.
dexterity of a jungle tree.
K9 was dragged around by wires and had a laser in his nose, as I recall. But I'm going to have to go with IG-88. I think he's just too badass.
Maybe IG-88 is the end of robots.
Dan?
K9 could bring in his company, as in K9 Company. IG-88, while being friends with the other bounty hunters, I don't know ultimately if they would put it on the line for him. I think I've got to go with K9.
3 votes for K9. I'm going to ask somebody if they're going to change their vote when Darren tells us what he thinks. All I can tell is that K9 he's like doing John Woo. IG-88 is doing the John Woo thing. He got 2 lasers. K9 is his little dog. Little dog. In a BBC production.
That travels through time. K9 travels through time.
Darren?
And relative
Well,
pictures.
Rob, you just stole my line. But in addition to IG-88 being bolted to the floor, K9 does in fact travel around in the TARDIS and can go anywhere and do anything that British writers tell him to. So I'm going to vote for K9.
K9 goes to the next round.
Listen, if it were R2-D2 versus IG-88, I don't think anybody would have a problem with R2-D2.
Because R2-D2
K9 is
can
just
fly.
essentially the British R2-D2.
That's still a possibility. Let's see what the band holds. Our next two competitors are... Oh! Staying alive, number 5. We're starting with the lame robots. Number 5, Johnny 5. Okay. Stand white, thank you. And number 5 will be fighting against Patrick Wiggles. Against... Oh my God! Beady, beady, beady! Theopolis and Twiki. I want to point out there was some controversy in the pre-game show that was televised in a separate broadcast, in which we were deciding whether or not Twiki and Dr. Theopolis should be separate. Oh, I guess we're over.
Someone's leaning against the lights again. They're already that tired.
Okay. I just want to point out at the end, anybody who goes down to the Cine Fantastic, can get free RoboCop 3 and Black Hole issues. Because, we thought that we would reward you for coming to this ridiculous panel. It's 3920. Dr. Theopolis and Twiki. But I will refer to him, since he's more of a friend, as Theo. Okay. And of course, if you want to buy Twiki, he's on sale downstairs. I also want to point out that Felix Silla, who played Twiki, is here, and thought if we could get him into a fist fight with Kenny Baker, it would be a great way to end the battle. Okay. So we have number 5 versus Dr. Theopolis and Twiki. Darren Doctor.
there's no real proof that Twiki and Dr. Theopolis are alive. Number 5 is alive. So I'm going to go for number 5.
Both are certainly capable of cavorting, capering, monkeying, anticing. But Twiki, I think Twiki ultimately was held together with stronger glue than number 5, who was made of garbage. So I'm going to have to say Twiki on this.
No, disassemble!
Okay, so we have 1 for Twiki and 1 for number 5. Steve Melcher.
Well, Twiki was voiced by Mel Blanc, one of the greatest voice actors of all time. And I hate number 5, so I can...
Number 5 might be the most annoying robot ever, and he had binoculars for a head, so I'm going to go with Twiki as well.
Petey, Petey, Petey. Very good.
Number 5 is dead.
But Rob, perhaps you could convince them on the panel to change their mind.
No, because the designers of number 5 felt the need to put eyelashes.
And one of them was
So I'm going to go with Twiki.
Twiki also had a girlfriend, Rob.
That's true.
Proving conclusively
Really
what
booty
we
booty. Yeah, we could never quite get close enough to do it.
Twiki wins.
Twiki is victorious. Number 5 is on the scrap heap of robots.
Robots.
Okay. Next competitors in round 1.
We're saving it all for the end because it's been good.
Well, they're not getting any better. Let's see how many people know. V.I.K. No, Vincent. Mickey from Small Wonder.
sight.
And Small Wonder will be competing in this round against the Terminator. Jason, why not the Terminator versus Small Wonder? Discuss.
Small Wonder will one day be 18 years old. And you know what that means. The Terminator will just go to the next molten puddle nearest you. I vote for Small Wonder.
I had hoped this would be the final round, but I have to. God, this is so difficult. I'm trying to figure out a way to make Small Wonder win the entire competition.
Are you saying this is rigged?
No, it's
we
not.
pride ourselves on our fairness.
The Terminator came back many times. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You know, really could never accomplish much at all.
He's scraping the barrel.
I agree.
Small Wonder wore that outfit.
She doesn't know what to do when neither of them are British.
Well, no, okay, fine. I'm playing the girl card, Small Wonder.
The Terminator knows no pity. It knows no remorse. And it absolutely will not stop until Small Wonder is dead!
They haven't yet theorized particles small enough to represent the particles that Small Wonder would be in. After this. So, Terminator.
2 for Small Wonder, 2 for the Terminator. It all comes down to this. Terminator 3 or Terminator 2?
Vicky's 18 now.
Follow with me, please. The Terminator is mean. Granted. But Vicky is the pure embodiment of evil.
Aaron, these people are going to kill us.
The legitimacy of us being up here is at stake.
Which is why we can't always go with the easy answer. All right, it's the Terminator.
No issues for them. Okay. Now we're talking. Well, not really. At least they weren't clones of Tomorrow Mars. Okay, our next robot is from the 1978 television series. Dun, 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 dun. Cylon Centurion pilot, command the Cylon Centurion. Couldn't shoot straight. We'll get to that in Clone Countdown. one of everyone's favorite robots because he drinks, he drives, he does it all. Robbie the Robot! Robbie the Robot is amazing.
Bender is animated. I don't think he's going to be making improvements today.
I think we also have to point out that Bender...
But who knows?
That we would have to disqualify Dan if Bender, having worked on the show, would not be fair. Not be fair to the other robots. Playing their little robot games.
And the Yamato actually came from the bottom of the sea. It once was a real ship. So.
And I like to think it still is. Okay. Take it up with the Robot Protection Society. Okay. Steve, Cylon versus Robbie the Robot.
Well, as much as I love the Cylons, they're really freaking cool. They got that eye, and they have swords, they have guns. However, they cannot shoot straight. Whereas, as Mark pointed out, Robbie does drink. He can. He has all kinds of armaments. I can go with Robbie.
You need to be me. Wherever you go. There you are. Okay.
Well, I think if the competition happened today, Robbie would be as hungover as everybody else the Sunday morning after, so I'm going to go with the Cylon.
Okay. There were 3 people alive on Altair. There was Morbius, there was Anne Francis, and there was Robbie.
Yeah.
What do you think Anne Francis and Robbie were doing the whole time? When Leslie Nielsen shows up with his married band of stalwart mates in a C-57D. Where do you think Robbie has been? Where no man, none of us went before. So I'm going to go with Robbie. Silence never went anywhere.
Plus, Robbie can sew dresses.
Yes, he can.
Cylons can sew skirts.
Darren, are you saying that... What are you saying?
As usual, I have no idea what I'm saying. But when they target like that, Robbie can simply walk out of the way. And Robbie can make infinite amounts of any material, including booze. I'm going to have to go with Robbie on this one.
Dan?
The Cylons can't even escape from where they're trapped in that Universal theme park tram ride. Robbie the Robot has traveled all over the universe. He has, and even in that Twilight Zone episode where he had the cane, he was the old man, that scared the shit out of me as a kid. So he's pretty cool. I gotta go with Robbie. Even though I think it was pretty cool.
Edward James Olmos would be very upset with you right now. The winner, going to compete against the Terminator in our next round, will be Robbie the Robot. Our next 2 preliminary contestants are... Oh, you've been waiting for these. Here they are. The real queer eye for the straight guy, C-3PO and R2-D2.
We do have tag teams in this.
Yes. Tweaky and Theopolis were a tag team.
And who will they compete against? No Man, Tonru, created by Jackson Roy Kirk. No Man.
No man could sterilize a planetary system.
Yes, but 3PO can board them.
Is Nomad really a robot, though? I thought Nomad was a space probe.
He's a space robot.
Okay. C-3PO and R2-D2 versus No Man.
Vaudevillian shtick versus a moron.
Well, you know, you could look at it this way. Nomad almost destroyed the Enterprise, and C-3PO almost destroyed the Millennium Falcon, so...
I think R2-D2 is such a versatile robot. I mean, he can fly now, as we discovered in episode 2.
Which he apparently forgot, though.
Yeah.
They can only fire once in his lifetime. He used them then.
He's like a Swiss Army robot. 3PO would prance around, distract Nomad. R2 would go in for the kill.
3PO's not even a factor because he's off trying to figure out when you get a Wookiee when he already has a phone first. R2 is basically R2 and Han Solo are the two heroes of the trilogy, and it's clearly R2-D2. So.
Okay, no man is stupid. He thinks Jackson Roy Kirk is the same thing as Captain James Kirk. But he has a lot of power to back that stupidity up. And as everyone knows, power and stupidity are an unstoppable force in the universe.
Just as retirement.
I gotta go with Nomad.
I'm going to poll the jury. Rob.
I didn't even get to say anything, but I'm going to go with I'm not going to say why, but R2.
No, I want to know why.
No, I'm not.
No, come on. No.
Save it for the next round.
Yeah, well, I'm saving it. R2-3PO.
And Nomad.
The winner going on to our next round, R2-D2 and C-3PO. Next. Dun 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 dun. I can't stop this shit. It's really simple. He was on the beat and he got turned into a robot. Officer Murphy is RoboCop.
This is a valid concern, but remember, his name is RoboCop.
He's half man.
He's not half
machine.
He has
all cop.
That's right.
RoboCop has to eat.
He's not
baby
half
machine. Robots don't eat.
C-3PO takes an oil bath. It's going to feel so good.
I want to point out that this discussion was had for about 2 hours, and we decided RoboCop could be in the Robo-Rumble. However, if you want to play the game under protest, go ahead and spoil it for the rest of us. That's fine.
No.
RoboCop will be competing against.
The problem is Mark can't draw anything, any sort of robot to take the place of the robot.
Well, you know, I don't think anybody's going to know because the Borg's a cyborg. Oh! Well, but they're not called Robo-Borg. Okay, the RoboCop will be competing against our favorite drones from the classic Trouble film, Silent Running. Well, I think this is going to be another quick one. Darren.
Obviously, Huey, Dewey, and Louie can surround RoboCop. From 3 different directions. Absolutely, that's where I was going. It's got... And because RoboCop has a flesh face, they can cut it real bad. I gotta go with the boys.
They're not Ricky Jay. They can't throw the cards in the water.
Joan Baez ever sing about RoboCop?
If Silent Runnings ended with the Huey, Dewey, and Louie saying, Huey, Dewey, Louie, and then the screen went black and said, Silent Running, maybe they'd have a chance. But since that happens with the appropriate words in RoboCop, and it's probably the best, one of the best endings in any sci-fi movie ever, I'm going to, just from a writing standpoint, I have to give this one
While Darren makes a valid point about the Huey, Dewey, and Louie surrounding RoboCop, RoboCop has a really big gun. He would just turn around and go, targeting.
Especially if they were in the process of sexually assaulting each other. Okay, look, no, that's not guilty. There's a scene in RoboCop where he's incredibly efficient at stopping a sexual assault in progress. That's all I'm asking. No, Robert's the one with the blue material.
RoboCop.
Okay.
RoboCop.
Robert.
Well, now I want to point out that we are an equal opportunity robo-employer. Are we not? And there are actually quadriplegics inside Huey, Dewey, and Louie making them go. And I think that...
You mean they weren't real?
No, they're real.
For the purpose.
They're real in your imagination.
And with 3 of them, they're dodecaplegics.
But lest we forget, there was also a disabled person inside RoboCop. So hence my conundrum. Who do I pick to make sure that we're properly representing those that are disabled? On the panel? No, I'm going to go with Huey, Dewey, and Louie because there were Disney characters named Huey, Dewey, Louie too.
That's a compelling argument, Mr. Burnett. I like to poll the jury.
That's all I got for you.
Okay, Robert, Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yes.
Okay.
HDNL.
The winner is RoboCop under protest.
RoboCop also has 2 sequel films, an animated television series, and a television series.
I actually think those are all negative, Steve. I don't think they're helping your case. Okay. Going in the next round. Everyone's favorite android, recently deceased along with the franchise which spawned it, Mr. Data.
Does anyone have any problem with including him? Because he's an android? Are androids robots? Are they different from cyborgs?
He is fully functional, though.
You know, I know what the general opinion is here, but I'm curious because I just want to know. I enjoyed Nemesis. Is there one person here who is willing to say they enjoyed Nemesis? Just curious.
Wow, you guys just want to jump on the bandwagon.
That's really sad. I was impressed with the audience until this point. Now this is a battle that can only happen in San Diego. On one hand, we got old Yellow Eyes' back, and facing him is everyone's favorite gunslinger, Yul Brynner from Westworld. We got Data versus the robot gunslinger from Westworld. And Future World. And beyond Westworld.
Data's been in the Old West.
And the king of it.
Fistful of data.
If anyone's seen any bootlegs on the floor beyond Westworld, let me know. I want to pick one up.
Eastworld. What occurs to me is that Data has faced in several Star Trek episodes, because they really only have like 4 plots. Data has faced down competitors like Yul Brynner before in Star Trek episodes, whereas Yul Brynner in Westworld never faced anybody like Data successfully. So just based on that precedent, I think I got to say Data for this one.
Even horribly burned by acid, the robot gunslinger still kept coming and coming and coming. He wouldn't stop until he just broke. But Data has a weight gain chip and perhaps the stupidest name for an android ever. Who the hell calls an android Data? That's a stupid name. I'm gonna have to go toward Yul Brynner on this one.
Robert Burnett.
2 words. Tasha Yar. What? I don't have to say it. Data.
Data wanted to be human, which is really lame. And Yul Brynner was the robot gunslinger. Right there, robot gunslinger. There's nothing better than that. Robot gunslinger all the way.
Yeah!
But Data got to be a gunslinger in a fistful of Datas.
Yeah, the holodeck.
That was make-believe, Rob.
That wasn't real like Delos. Steve, it all comes down to you.
Data had a cat. Robots don't keep cats. Yul Brynner.
Data goes down. The robot gunslinger will fight another day.
And for the record, I would have changed my vote to Yul Brynner at this point, because Kay and Steve bring us 3 points. And any robot that has the word Pinocchio associated with it in any way, has to lose. So.
Okay. We're getting down to the last couple of round 1 robots. And oh, here's a cool robot, tough guy. Stop the world from turning. His name was Gordon.
No, he's just doing his Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness.
Super Gort.
Who is this? Right, okay. My little musical clue there. Did you get that, everyone? Okay, robot. B9. See, now if it just said robot, I would have got it. The B9 thing confused me with that stupid Nemesis movie. Okay, we have the Lost in Space robot versus Gort. Danger, San Diego. Danger. Okay.
It'll all be decided.
Robot B9. B9. Gort is the coolest robot ever.
Darren, document.
They're both funded by 20th Century Fox. So that isn't a deciding factor. Gort is much older and might feel a little creaking now and then. But he was kind of supposed to be liquid metal. So that'd be cool. And Gort doesn't have any red bits on him. Gotta go with Gort.
Gort was liquid metal, and he was much bigger than the Terminator's version of the liquid metal. So, and Gort just scared the entire planet. Gort is cool.
Steve Belcher.
Gort is a robot of no words. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to speak. He's just there.
There are only 3 words he needs.
That's
Forget
right.
that.
No. He was also directed by Robert Wise, which is incredibly cool. He's kind of the original Cylon. I I think the B9 robot would just flail his hooks around ball court, blast him into Microsoft.
Very good, Kay.
I said Kay already.
I remember that.
The one thing B9 is known for is screaming danger, danger, rather than addressing the problem.
Hence his name.
Robert, you know, it seems like it's around, but maybe you can change some minds here.
Gort was the only robot like Mr. Smith that got to go to Washington and meet the President of the United States. But B9 met a talking carrot. All lost in space, so I'm going to go with Gort.
He's the winner.
That was And also, I just wanted to add something that B9 had an easily removable power pack.
B9 versus Tobor. That would be something.
Because
Tobor is robot spelled backwards.
I just want to point out, I really thought 2XL should be in this competition.
Yes!
Okay. Here we have another
Children's Educational Aid Smackdown.
We have a great
The Speak and Spell versus
real robot versus Simon. Okay, we got another dynamic duo of robots, or not very dynamic duo, as the case may be. They both have artificial intelligence. Hint, hint. Gigolo Joe and David. Ooh, the excitement. Can you feel it? Gigolo Joe and David from AI, artificial intelligence. Well, let's see who they're fighting first. Come on.
Look, we could have
Come on, you're hurting Steven Spielberg's feelings.
we could have picked Tom Cruise from Eyes Wide Shut. So just be happy.
And, oh, well, this is great. Gigolo Joe is squaring off against a man who passed through the black hole and also the planet of the apes, Vincent from the black hole. Okay.
So is Jude Law.
Yeah, I can't play the British card of this one, but boy am I going to play the Jude Law card. Obviously, Gigolo Joe did.
Robert.
Vincent can fly. And he has 2 big laser guns.
And he's buddies with Yvette Moo.
But Gigolo Joe is a gigolo.
He's just a gigolo.
Women. That's what he does. That's all he does. Gigolo Joe. And even though he doesn't, he takes a young boy under his wing and helps him out. He's a kind, gentle robot, as well as being a gigolo. I'm going to go with Gigolo Joe.
You guys should do better than this.
We're about to. Dan Barrett.
Why do you hurt us?
Vincent. Okay, now Vincent
has ESP. With Yvette, French name I can't pronounce, woman. So,
Yvette
Weena. Vincent, remember when he was outside the Palomino and he resourcefully fired that little magnet, pulled himself in? He can look, the most powerful force in the universe is a black hole, and Vincent stared it down and beat it. Not to mention, these guys wanted Maximilian in this thing. Vincent housed Maximilian with his little drill at the top of his head. So. But that said, David could start crying and get. But I guess that just would cause a crowd riot, and ultimately that means nothing. So yeah, Vincent.
So I see in this picture that young David has the teddy bear with him. Is the teddy bear part of this? And if so, does Vincent have old Bob with him?
Yeah.
Bob.
I can't see.
Next year, Robo Rumble 2, old Bob versus Talking Teddy.
I think all Vincent would need to do is feed David some spinach. And that'd be it.
So introduce him to you that video.
Or tell him that he's got a mommy somewhere. And then he's off.
Yeah, Vincent would just introduce Gigolo Joe to Yvette Nemu. He'd be busy. David would start crying with his teddy bear. Vincent would push him out the airlock into the black hole. Vincent!
Let's poll the audience. Poll the
Gigolo Joe.
That's one for Gigolo Joe.
Well, I wouldn't expect anybody in comic book convention to go for gigolos.
Two for Gigolo.
I'm going to vote for Gigolo Joe.
We got two for Gigolo Joe. No for Vincent and Steve. One for Vincent, two for Gigolo Joe.
Vital information necessary centralized.
Two for Vincent, two for Gigolo Joe. Once again, it comes down to Darren Doc.
Gigolo Joe can play 40s swing music.
Darren.
Gigolo Joe can't change hair color though.
Clear all SmackDown.
It's Vincent.
And Vincent moves on to the next round. And we're going to slug a few more for this first round. So let's move on here. Wow, just to show that, you know, robots don't have to be from the last 10 years, post-Star Wars era. Just to show how freaking cool we are. We have Maria from Metropolis. And Maria goes against, and that's not the anime Metropolis, it was an old Fritz Lang movie. And versus, oh Jesus. Okay. This is going to be the source of much consternation. He always wanted a heart. King Wisdom from the Wizard of Oz. Retro Robot Smackdown.
They make a great couple, don't they? The chicken gets his heart.
Bob says the C-3PO parents are fighting each other.
That's why 3PO turned out so goofy.
David.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? With the Tin Woodsman's axe.
Has the Tin Woodsman been oiled yet? Or is he still immobile and rusted in place?
Maria can start social insurrection and bring an entire city to its knees. And she's a chick! What more do you want?
I think that it's interesting because, as most people know, the Maria was actually built of a cellulose material, which makes her a wood tin woman. So she would win.
I didn't follow that. I wanna poll the jury here. My thoughts exactly.
Maria.
You know, I hate the Wizard of Oz, but Tin Woodsman.
That's one for Maria, one for the Tin Woodsman. No bad Blondie songs about the Tin Man. But
Fritz Lang? I gotta go with the Tin Woodsman. This is a terrible choice.
two for the Tin Woodsman, one for Maria.
This is really hard. I'm sorry, Maria. I gotta go with the Tin Man.
I just got wood.
Okay.
Yes,
Ron, that was
he's so very
he's got on your flight now.
Yes, oil too.
It's kind of, I don't know, I mean, Maria is German expressionism brought to life. I mean, it's influenced an entire decade, entire millennium, well, the end of the millennium, of design work. It's just, she's so beautiful, and she's the first.
But who would kick each other's ass? It's not about who look good. It's
Maria would seduce the two.
He doesn't have a heart. Neither does Robert.
She worked doesn't stop him while on him. And anyway, Maria.
Does anyone want to change their vote? Right now we have 2 for Maria, 3 for Tim Bushman. Has that convinced anyone to change their vote?
I'm going to change my vote. Rob's convinced me.
Okay.
Yes.
Steve,
you want to be seduced by Maria? And then have some social insurrection on the side?
as long as it's
Maria was
social.
the Catherine Trammell of her day.
Oh my God. So going on to the next round, next to a compelling argument made by Mr. Rob Burnett, Maria from Metropolis. Getting down to round 1. We have, you love the heart of gold and you love the man inside of it. Versus, who could it be? We're about to find out. I don't know. Oh, this is the battle of a lifetime. He was right to be paranoid because he's about to get stomped by Mechagodzilla.
I think you all know I'm very depressed.
I think Marvin would find a way. He has a brain size of a planet. He could talk to Godzilla and bore him. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta give it to Marvin.
Okay.
Well, I guess if Mechagodzilla was coming after him, Marvin wouldn't really be paranoid. And he's British, so Marvin,
Just because Marv's paranoid doesn't mean Mechagodzilla isn't out to get him.
The question is whether he's paranoid or not.
I think that Mechagodzilla is a fine product of Japanese engineering. I'm a big fan of that, so I'm going to go with Mechagodzilla. There's 3 different incarnations now of Mechagodzilla. There's been only one Marvel apparently.
This is like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Does Marvin know Kung Fu? I think Mechagodzilla can...
Mechagodzilla can fly.
Yeah, he can fly.
Mechagodzilla can fly.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a competition here. I think it's...
This is like Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Bob Newhart.
I'm going to call our national dermatologist, starting with Darren.
Mechagodzilla.
Marvin.
Okay, ready? We have,
bring it home to
we got
Yamato.
2, and then
No, it's where the Yamato failed yesterday. Mechagodzilla is going to represent.
We got to get Homer down to Project Green.
Mechagodzilla goes on to the next round. Marvin the paranoid android. Actually, today's odds doing whatever they do. Okay. Moving on. Oh, this guy got to see Jenny Agutter nude, so you gotta love him.
David Naughton.
From Logan's Run. He's saving us from Sanctuary, Box.
My job.
Remember Logan's Run? It was that sports movie.
Give that man a cigar.
And Fighting Box is... This is 70s Robot Smackdown. Joanna from the Stepford Wives. Rob, take it away.
Joanna has been turned into a female What more do you want? I go with her. Well, she was later in the legacy.
What a surprise. Kay.
Joanna was created by a guy who worked for Disney. So clearly, eventually, Joanna and the other female robots were going to take over the world. Joanna.
Steve Nelson.
Box could freeze people.
People.
Good point, Joanna.
Joanna, Box needs somebody to bring the Windex to him and clean him up. And I think that Joanna proves she's pretty good at that. But all the same, I gotta think about this a little more.
Darren, we'll come back to Dan.
I gotta give a shout out to Box because he's cool. Joanna has black eyes.
And today is last day.
Yeah.
I just want to point
That's
out,
right.
as the moderator of the panel, those are the lamest arguments I've ever heard. Does anyone have a better argument?
Crossbow leads round, period.
Actually, Joanna's going to be remade or replayed by Nicole Kidman, who's a hot redhead. And no one ever played Box again.
I gotta go with Box.
This is what I want you all to do. I'm going to show the trailer for the panel. I want you all to think really hard about this one before you vote, because I'm not convinced by any of those arguments. I think I
There's no sound.
I think I have sound. I think we have. We don't have a picture, but we sound.
We don't have enough time to stop.
I want you to think. It's a minute. Then forget it. You know what? We're not going to find this.
Never mind.
Okay, I'm going to poll the audience. This is the final round one. This is Stepford Wives Joanna versus Box from Logan's Run. Robert Bridges.
Joanna.
Joanna.
Box. So, are you saying now? Have any of you been persuaded by these horrible arguments? Because right now you're saying that Joanna.
Joanna knew Paula Prentice, who was married to Richard Benjamin, who defeated the gunslinger.
You're telling me that
So Paula Prentice, Richard
Catherine
Benjamin
Ross
defeated the
is
gunslinger.
going to defeat this giant robot.
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't get it either, but they voted. No one wants to change their vote. Yeah, what does she do? How did, I mean, I don't know that. I haven't been convinced.
It's Box.
All right, I'm convinced Logan's Run's cooler.
I would like to substitute a robot.
I'm playing this under protest now because Mark swayed the jury.
Moving on to round two. This is where it gets interesting. This is where the rubber hits the road. The rubber hits the robots. First one. Robot K9 versus Twiki and Dr. Theopolis. Big Brother 5. They're all living together. Okay, Robert.
That's hard.
K9 versus Dr. Theopolis and Twiki.
I gotta think about this. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, just imagining the hijinks alone. I gotta go with Twiki and Theo.
Oh, Steve.
Not changing my vote. Just again, Mark. Just let us talk.
Twiki and Theo.
Twiki can go up and down stairs.
That's right. Stairs in space.
But K9 does have that nose laser, and Twiki just has a couple of hooks. So I gotta go with K9.
We have one vote for Twiki and one vote for
Twiki did nothing but get into messes and trouble, and K9 did nothing but get people out of messes and trouble. It's much more resources.
Okay, I want to, before you say anything, I want to point out the fact that Dr. Theophilus is also with Twiki. You're neglecting Dr. Theophilus. You're totally ignoring his contribution. He runs the entire power grid in New Chicago.
He's a freaking necklace.
I'd like to vote. Twiki and Theo met Julie Newmar, who was on a classic Star Trek episode, Friday's Job, and because of that, I'm going to vote for Twiki and Theo.
Wait a minute. What about all the Doctor's companions? Leela!
Okay.
If you want to
Here's my reasoning. Here's my reasoning. K9 is a robot dog. Twiki is a robot penis. You gotta go with the robot dog.
That's the problem with you people.
We had such pure intentions when we conceived of this thing.
Okay, right now K9 has 3 votes. If no one wants to change their vote, K9 will defeat Twiki and Dr. Theophilus. The victory is K9.
It was a tough battle.
Now we have Terminator versus Robbie the Robot. That's right. Terminator versus Robbie the Robot.
Can we just vote on this?
No, I would like to know what you think.
Dan, I'm beginning to get worried because to me it feels like really, well, you know what, no, I can't give away what I'm thinking about who's going to win this thing, but I can't conceive of Robbie the Robot being the Terminator.
Robert, what do you think? I mean, could Robbie the Robot conceivably beat the Terminator?
Robbie has the power of the crowd behind him.
Robbie makes beer!
Now, they might have destroyed themselves as a race because of that technology. But I'm going to go with Robbie.
Darren.
Robbie's just cooler.
It's badassedness we need to worry about here. Isn't it? Really?
Did you see T3?
Let me point out that Robbie the Robot will never run for governor of the state of California.
But if he did,
I vote for him. Okay, I'm going to poll our jury. They seem quite constipated. Derek, one for Robbie, one for Terminator. Steve Belcher.
Terminator.
2 for Terminator.
You know, if Small Wonder couldn't defeat Terminator, there's no way Robbie's going to do it.
It's not fair. There's a lot of Terminators. They come off in a separate line. There's only one of Robbie. And I'm going to go with the unique wonder of the universe. And having only one of it means something. And it has value.
Precious by definition means once it's destroyed, you can't fight with it anymore. You can keep rolling Terminators off it.
No! And Terminator goes on to the next round. But Robbie promises to be back. Our next round, C-3PO and R2-D2 versus RoboCop. What do you think?
RoboCop has a lot of things that can be unscrewed and undrilled. R2 has all the necessary tools to do that. I never said I would vote against RoboCop.
let's say it was about
okay, wait. RoboCop has actual bullets as opposed to plasma weaponry or something like that.
He has those big cannons. Does RoboCop have that jack where you can just like plug into his like memory system?
Yeah, he does. But he also has the spike in his hand that he could jam into R2's eye hole.
You may also want to point out that C-3PO can be blown apart.
No,
Together like Chewbacca. He's easily assembled like IKEA furniture.
Well, wait, I have to point out that R2-D2 apparently in the Star Wars franchise has forgotten his past, whereas RoboCop has memories of who he used to be.
Yeah.
And those who do not remember their past are destined to repeat it. So I'm going to go with
that clinches it for me as well. Thanks, Rick.
RoboCop.
I think in this case, actually taking into account that he's RoboCop, you know, he's not supposed to just go out on the street and blow people and robots away. So 3PO can distract him by jaywalking. A little robot ingenuity in this case is going to defeat RoboCop.
Let's vote. Darren Doxman.
Come on. 3PO and R2, while being very cute, they'd be blown to smithereens.
Unless somebody can give me an example in any of the novels or anything where R2 had shielding, and no one can RoboCop.
But he plays CDs though.
He's not supposed to
These are all reasons why he wouldn't win.
We have 2 for RoboCop. Nothing for C-3PO and R2.
Yeah.
No, Luke Skywalker took on the Death Star.
R2 got shot.
Steve.
R2 is... Yeah.
He's also great at having his doors open as soon as he's shot by anything.
I don't know. I think R2 is just. I think he's got a lot of offensive capabilities that we're not taking into account here. And I gotta go with 3PO and R2.
Okay.
Yeah, 3PO and R2.
Okay. It is tied up. 2 votes for R2 and C-3PO, or should I just say R2? And 2 votes for Officer Murphy, otherwise known as RoboCop. Rob Meyer Burnett. RoboCop.
Yeah.
And RoboCop was on the next round. R2-D2 are toast. Glad neither of you would vote the sequels instead of a toss-up, which had worse sequels. Now, he made the Earth stand still, and he saved a small Mexican village. We have the robot gunslinger versus Gort. You lose the crowd, you lose the crowd.
Slowly with a drink.
Yeah.
It's Gort.
Dan Dummer. Gort. Steve Belcher.
Gort.
Kay Render.
Gort.
Robert Meyer, always the contrarian.
I just want to point out that I'm not getting bullied. I just want to point out that Michael Crichton, the famous novelist, the man who created ER,
And airframe.
directed Westworld, and has more money, has much more money than Robert Wise has.
Okay, that is not a valid
He works
argument.
for Steven Spielberg and DreamWorks.
But Michael Crichton would have written Day the Earth Stood Still if he thought he could get away with it.
Rob, Yul Brynner beat up on Richard Benjamin, okay? Gort made the Earth stand still. Richard Benjamin.
Well, you know, I was going to say that Gort would win because Robert Wise, after all, directed Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
And a fine argument that is Gort, by unanimous decree, goes on to the next round. And now, Vincent from the Black Hole versus Maria from Metropolis. Well, eyes versus, do the eyes have it?
Vincent has 2 lasers, but Maria has 2 headlights. I gotta go with the experience over the cuteness. So Maria.
1 for Maria, Dan Better.
Vincent has proven that he can not only shoot circles around Star, but he can make robots self-destruct by making them so angry that they physically blow up. So he could either use his lasers or he could use the more emotional attack, but Vincent's going to win it.
Steve Belcher.
I think all Maria would have to do is look at those great big dewy eyes, and she would melt. I mean, I think Vincent.
2 for Vincent, 1 for Maria. Hey.
He's British. Ronnie McDowell's voice.
Yes, well, true. But, yeah, not the right kind of British. Maria commands the workers. And she gets to sit in that cool chair. And she's Maria, so I'm going for her. Sorry,
That's 2 for Maria, 1 for Vincent. Once again, Robert, it comes down to you.
Maria is the most influential robot of the 20th century. There would be no C-3PO without Maria. Maria was there first. She is the mother of all robots. Everywhere. Of course she could beat Vincent. She's lasted much longer. She's proven longevity. Vincent's been around since 1979. Maria, 1927.
He's the best ripoff of R2-D2 in the history of the show.
Better than Twiggy?
I'm going with Maria.
Maria defeats Vincent. I told you it should be Maximilian. Maximilian would have lost this battle. Okay, and now our final round 2 contestants are Mechagodzilla versus Box from Logan's Run. I'm going to poll our jury.
Okay, this is tough because they were both shot in Toho scope. Audio. But I would go with Mechagodzilla. Because he's fighting Tiamat.
Okay.
yeah, that is pretty much my thing too. You know, there's Fox, there's Mechagodzilla, there's Fox.
No sanctuary for Box.
Yeah, Box is too busy worrying about, you know, plankton and fish from the sea, that kind of crap. So yeah, Mechagodzilla would just shoot one of those little missiles at him. He'd be done.
Dan Weber. Very nice. We go to round 3. K9 versus the Terminator. They said K9 wouldn't make it this far. They were wrong. But this could be it for K9. Is it Robert Meyer Burnett?
Both travel through time. But as we have seen, the Terminator can only go so far back in time. To what, 1984? Whereas K9 could go back before even the Terminator had destroyed K9. and defeat the Terminator. So I'm going with K9.
Well, that convinced me. Yeah, I mean, K9 would always be around, which is really, really annoying. But yeah, K9.
And he's British.
There you go.
Well, K9 has that little suction cup thing that comes out of his head that I think he can use to reprogram other robots, right? So yeah, I think K9 would just shut it down. I mean, provided he can get close enough, I guess. I don't know. I think he's a
We have 2 votes for K9, 1 for the Terminator. This would be shocking if it went for K9.
Well, no, but I'm going with Terminator.
Yeah.
I've gone this far with K9, but you know, it's kind of the equivalent of this. It's pointing the gun and
Darren Document, 2 votes for K9, 2 votes for the Terminator.
I'm a friend of K9's. Do you know where he's gone? He's gone!
Terminator.
Terminator defeats K9.
I think we should poll the jury again.
Should. Robin R. Burnett.
Now, what I was trying to say, K9, I won't repeat my time temporal vortex.
K9.
K9.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. This is a bigger robbery than a Florida election. Well. Whatever he says
Doesn't work.
Sometimes.
I think we should take this to the Supreme Court. A RoboCop versus Gort. Finally, has RoboCop met his match?
Two cops.
On the beat.
One of them is the galactic policeman.
Darren Dodson.
There is no contest. Poor Officer Murphy would walk the beat the last time this game. Gort would walk away with it.
He wouldn't walk away with it. It would be a drawn-out battle. You saw how resilient RoboCop is, Murphy.
RoboCop would be disintegrated immediately.
Melted into a little puddle.
Gort turned a tank into a.
Well, with Gort, I just
multi-flag.
wanted to say it's not going to be quite as easy, but you know, now that yeah, he would be.
Yeah, Gort is bulletproof, and he's shown the ability to melt large, metal objects into slag very quickly. So,
Gort.
Gort moves on. And our final round 2 contestants
I like Starships better.
are Maria and Mechagodzilla.
We have the Axis powers fighting against each other.
Panel of robotologists, what do you think? Darren?
Smash. Mechagodzilla.
Dan Governor.
Yeah, Mechagodzilla.
Steve Belcher.
I don't think Maria's feminine wiles would work on a gigantic metal lizard. Even if she turned the workers against him, they've seen what Mechagodzilla can do to large crowds.
Okay.
I think Mechagodzilla would. This is very difficult. Maria would end up putting him to work in the factory.
She's right.
Making dainty memories.
Yeah.
Take the woman's side,
So,
sure.
well, I have to in this case. I mean, I think it's, Maria.
Robert Meyer Burnett.
Wonder what your reason's going to be, Ron.
Well, I don't have a good one other than the fact that, Maria has a soul. And
Isn't the definition of a robot that it doesn't have a soul?
Who says it? Well, I don't think so. Who says that? Maria has a soul.
So do all the people that Mechagodzilla stomps on.
And the winner is Mechagodzilla. Moving on.
No romance.
Now, we added something very special to Robo Rumble. It's called the Resurrection Round. As you can see, we only have 3 contestants. We're going to bring back 1 robot.
Small wonder.
Okay, we have 2 candidates, Terminator and C-3PO and R2-D2. Everyone who says Terminator, everyone who says Bender. The Terminator. The Terminator's back. Bender will save for next year.
But he's animated. Who cares?
Bender can't even survive the Fox executives.
To make it completely fair, we are going to randomly exchange the order. We don't know who's going against who.
Okay, Kara, draw finalists. Gort, who will fight against the Terminator. Robert Meyer Burnett, what do you think?
Gort has a cool spaceship. He comes out of a flying saucer. The Terminator just comes out of that little weird sphere. I'm gonna go with Gort.
Okay.
Well, you resurrected him and he's going down. I'm going with Gord.
Steve.
Yeah, it's Gord. I mean, yeah.
Dad.
Yeah, on the third day the Terminator rose again, but then he went up.
I know I'm 1 against 4, but the Terminator actually does have the power to go back in time before the policemen were created.
Yes, but if you believe in Einstein's theory of relativity, traveling through space in that spaceship, they can also travel through time.
No, you can't. I gotta vote for the Terminator, but I know I lost.
Well, bring back the Terminator to the short-lived resurrection. Gort will go against our 2 finalists in round 3. Who? K9 and Mechagodzilla. This is a very scientific process. And I ask you, the jury, to take your responsibilities very seriously. This is important stuff. Okay. Mechagodzilla K9. This is not, I don't want to hear the jokes, I don't want to hear the quips. I just want to hear some serious debate about the issues.
K9 could turn Mechagodzilla off.
How did he get to it? And he can't, K9, we've been talking about K9 going through time, but he doesn't go through time, the TARDIS goes through time. He's in the TARDIS. And he doesn't necessarily have the TARDIS when he's in the cage match that we're picturing.
These are also 2 very low-budget robots.
Okay.
He's British.
You know, I've been on K9's side for a while. I think he's been very spunky, but I don't think Mechagodzilla would even notice that he crushed K9.
Darren Doctor.
Though K9 would make funny noises as he dies. he would die.
Mechagodzilla, because he's Japanese.
The winner in our semifinal round, Mechagodzilla. Goodbye, K9. Goodbye. And now this is the one you've been waiting for. 2 of the most powerful robots in the history of robots. Mechagodzilla versus Gort. Mechagodzilla versus Gort. Who knew it would come to this? Robert?
Well, in all the cool Japanese monster movies, there were flying saucers. And I think that since Gort has a flying saucer, he could stay above and on top of Mechagodzilla, which would allow him to continually blast down and around.
Yeah,
But he can't leave the atmosphere of Earth, so he can fly higher.
Mechagodzilla's one advantage is the fact that he towers over him, but Robert's right. If you can fly over Mechagodzilla, plus be the most powerful, plus stop the Earth, as we've been saying.
Gord wouldn't have the flying saucer.
Gort gets his spaceship.
I want to point out that you're invalidating your old argument. The argument today was K9 doesn't have the TARDIS.
Yeah, I know.
Without Doctor Who. Well, does Gort have the spaceship without Mike?
We're all guilty of the same hypocrisy, Mr. Alton.
Need a spaceship?
No, he doesn't. I'm just, Gort can stand there and shoot upwards, and that's it. It's.
Why would Gort need a starship?
Mechagodzilla never met the President of the United States.
Gort, obviously.
You know, and unlike Maria, Gord was both what's the word I'm looking for? He was both able to change society like Maria did, admittedly, but he also is badass. And he does have weapons, which Maria didn't. He's got the whole package.
He's nigh invulnerable, isn't he? He's nigh. He's a tough customer.
Gord rocks. He would win. That's all there is to it.
They both, squared off against tanks, planes, and, well, invulnerable. It definitely sounds to me as though there's a bit of a quagmire here. They both seem all
Godzilla can beat Mechagodzilla, but Gord could beat Godzilla, so through that circuitous logic.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to vote. Do you want to be a millionaire? No. Robert Myron. Gord. Okay.
Gord.
And the winner of the prize, thank you for coming. Next year, Computer Crashdown as the M5 goes against Al.
Skynet versus the Matrix.
Skynet versus the Matrix. Come to see the Fantastic Booth at 3920. Get your free issues. I got tons for free gifts, so come up and get them. And thank you again for coming. We'll see you
Thanks,
next
everybody.
year.
This is fun. This is the thing we all look forward to more than anything else all year.